Welcome back to my channel, Star Booze.
I believe it contains a small amount of everything. It is, a throwback, yet it's also contemporary, since the young Expendables are in your possession, unable to use the stairs. Right now, you are here on behalf of the young guns. There is more to Sylvester Stallone than just a Hollywood icon. He is the person behind Rambo and Rocky, two of the most famous characters in the history of film. From situations with lots of motion to poignant, Stallone gave us his all in his monologues. Moreover, when the Expendables delivered all the "when tough guys got together," fans erupted. However, behind the scenes, several people did not receive along. Bruce Willis and Stallone. Let's simply put, things became tense. Actually, Stallone didn't remain silent. He left public with it, even mentioned it in a tweet. However, what actually transpired between the toothy action celebrities and what their hue? How does a relationship appear now? Come along with us as we reveal Stallone's true motivation. Declined to collaborate with Willis once more. However, let's begin in order to comprehend the context. Right from the start, a difficult, starting in the kitchen of hell. Sylvester, on July 6th, Gardino Stallone was born. 1946 in hell's rough neighborhood, New York City kitchen. It wasn't an easy life. Right from the beginning. Jackie, his mother women's wrestling competitor. Stallone promoter, along with his dad, Frank Sr. Stallone, worked as a hairdresser from Italy. Frank, his younger sibling. Additionally, Stallone would go on to become an musician and actor. At birth, items took a negative turn. Physicians have to make use of deliver him using forceps, but something went awry. In his face, a nerve was broken, resulting in the lower left portion of, he had a partially paralyzed face. This is the reason Stallone's voice is slurred and a sagging lip. When he was younger, he was bullied due to his appearance and speech. However, rather than giving up, he looked to using acting and bodybuilding to develop assurance. His name itself has a backstory. Tyrone was the name his mother wanted to give him after Tyrone Power is an actor. However, his father altered to Sylvester, his childhood nickname Binky. Later, he began using Mike since he was made fun of by some classmates be referring to him as odorous. However, regardless of his identity, Stallone consistently desired more out of life. His early years wasn't stable. He was in foster care, as a baby in foster care and boarding houses. Next, the family relocated to Maryland and subsequently to Washington, D.C., where his father established a gym and his mother founded a beauty school for females. However, things once more changed when his parents separated. Initially, Stallone shared a home with his father. However, as one ages 15, he relocated to Philadelphia and stayed there with his mother. At that point, everything started too incredibly fascinating. An exciting time at school and lofty aspirations. Stallone didn't, you see, precisely have an easy time at school. In actuality, a few students gave him the highest, probably going to be put in an electric chair. He was misunderstood that much. However, he continued to move forward. He attended Notre Both Abraham Lincoln High School and Dame Academy Philadelphia High School. Later on, he went to the Military Academy at Charlotte Hall, Maryland. College followed. He attended Miami-Dade College for a period of while. Following that, he worked for 2 years at Switzerland's American College, but acting was his passion. Thus, in 1967, he went back to the United States to study drama at Miami University. He didn't graduate at the time, but after several decades, he was awarded a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree. He received recognition for his acting on work and practical experience. While Stallone had little these days, cash, just a young man, he was pursuing a dream. However, that dream remained in his mind. He would shortly take the stage, not the one he had pictured, though. Thus, how did Stallone transition from plays in college to one of his best-known early movies? Stage work, battles, and a dangerous position. Prior to being well-known, Stallone experimented a lot. Initially, he acted under the stage name Mike Stallone. He even played the lead in a theater at college. In 1968, it was called That Nice Boy. In 1969, he produced a short independent film, he and his friend John, called Horses Herzfeld. However, his first significant role in a really surprising way. In 1970, Stallone appeared in the softcore adult movie The Kitty and Studs Party. He was only $200 for 2 days of labor. Why did he do it? Because he was impoverished and desperate. He was kicked out and even spent weeks sleeping in a bus stop. Later, Stallone stated, "It was either do or die. That film or steal from someone since I was the very end of my rope at the finish." The movie was re-released years later, renamed Italian Stallion in order to profit from his notoriety. Additionally, he performed in a theatrical production named Score, which subsequently turned into a movie. Additionally, while residing in New York, he lived in the same flat as his romantic partner, Sasha Chak. She was a serveress at the time, helping to support both of them. Stallone took up odd tasks such as being employed at a zoo and welcoming a theater. He was dismissed from the theater for the side gig of ticket sales. Despite this, he frequently visited the library. He enjoyed reading and became into an admirer of the works of Edgar Allan Poe. However, success still appeared a long way off until a unexpected encounter at a little play transformed everything. A pivotal role and The Ascend. As of 1972, Stallone was nearly letting go. He even attempted to become Anmore in The Godfather, but failed to receive the work. Rather, he made an appearance in the setting of the comedy What's Up, Doctor? Barbara. Streisand is the star. He had 2 extremely tiny components, and the majority, he wouldn't even be noticed. However, afterwards, while performing in a short play, he was spotted by a casting agent. The agent pondered. The part would be ideal for Stallone in The Lords of Flatbush, Stanley. It became into Stallone's first actual leading part. The movie had a budget, issues, and took years to complete, although, at last, it was revealed in 1974. In this role, Stallone gained some interest and maintained his desire of becoming an actor. Living. He had previously starred in, during the film, No, Place to Hide, which was subsequently changed to Rebel. Even it was eventually altered to become a parody, named A Man Called Rainbow, utilizing vintage and fresh video. It was an odd travel, but Stallone never gave up, attempting. He also played minor parts in major movies such as Bananas, MASH*, Klute, and The Second Prisoner Avenue. In one amusing instance, Jack, the role of Lemon in The Prisoner of, in fact, Second Avenue mugs and tackles Stallone believed him to be a thief. Stallone has more minor roles in films such as Capone, My Lovely, Farewell, as well as Death Race, 2000. Additionally, he was featured on television programs such as K-Jack and Police Story. There are also rumors that he visited Mandingo. However, that sequence may have been omitted. Own little part after part, Stallone continued to moving. His dream was yet unfulfilled. However, he was drawing nearer. And shortly, he would compose a screenplay titled Rocky, and everything would be different. How Rocky Altered Everything. Starring Sylvester Stallone, when Rocky hit the road in 1976, everything changed. Large screen. The movie recounted the tale of Rocky Balboa is an impoverished boxer who receives a chance to take on the world champion. The Stallone got the idea after seeing a Chuck and Muhammad Ali squabble on March 24, Weepner, 1975. Motivated, he returned home and completed Rocky's initial draft in only 3 days. Many thought the tale was Chuck Weepner's inspiration, but Stallone denied it. We disagreed, so we took legal action. Later, the matter was resolved, in private. Additionally, some claim that Rocky might have been impacted by the film, the book, or me. Is liked by someone up there. By Rocky Graziano, a fighter. Stallone attempted to market the screenplay, but he had a state. He was required to take the lead. The story appealed to the studios, but they wanted famous people like Burt or Robert Redford Reynolds. Stallone declined to sell if he wasn't the star. Following numerous discussions, the creators concurred, however they have to reduce the budget for the movie. As soon as Rocky was eventually made available, it turned into enormous impact. It was praised by critics. Roger, according to Eert, Stallone might even be Marlon Brando's next. In 1977, Stallone became the third individual in history to be both the greatest actor and the best script for the Oscars. He had arrived at a far from having difficulties in New York. Rocky, however, was only the start. Soon, another memorable figure would dominate the screen, establishing a profession with sweat and blood and action. In 1982, Stallone unveiled yet another enormous John Rambo's character. First Blood, he portrayed a traumatized soldier following a conflict. The movie was gripping and heartfelt, and it initiated a new franchise. Stallone continued to perform. Rambo in 5 motion pictures from 1982 to 2019. These films evolved into action classics. Stallone became a star by 1984 on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood. He wasn't no longer merely an actor. He represented Hollywood-style action. During the 1980s and 1990s, he starred in numerous popular movies, including Cliffhanger, Tango and Cash, Cobra, The Specialist, and Demolition Man. Because of these films, he became one of the most paid celebrities worldwide. While this Stallone once had a well-known rivalry with another legendary figure in action, Arnold Schwarzenegger. They were adored by fans. Compete. At the top of the list were both guys. Globe of action. Later, Stallone went back to his traditional roles. Among February 2001 was the earliest. Margie Carr, a lady, filed a lawsuit, asserting that she was raped by Stallone at a gym in Santa Monica. The attorney for Stallone denied. She claimed to have already sold the tale for a tabloid. Then, in 2007, Australian. Customs officials discovered 48 human growth hormone vials in Stallone's bags. During a court hearing, he entered a guilty plea on May 15th to having the material and was billed correspondingly. More issues arose in 2013 to Illumination. According to reports, Stallone had paid a settlement of $2 million in 1987 to Toni Felitti, his half-sister. She had accused him of mistreatment. According to his team, she was addicted to drugs and was attempting to extort him. However, Ed Felitti, her son, stated she had spoken and that she was credible. About it numerous times prior to her passing. E&A. Woman accused Stallone in 2016 of putting her in a 3-way relationship with his bodyguard during the Las Vegas filming 1986. At the time, she was 16. Stallone denied everything. His former spouse, Brigitte Nielsen, stepped up to lend him support, claiming that she was that time with him. David Mendenhall, another actor, also denied that Stallone had brought the girl to him. In 2017, a different woman claimed she was sexually abused by Stallone in the 1990s in his office. Once more, he rejected the assertion. According to his attorney, the claim was only made by the woman after. Her narrative was turned down by a website. They added that Stallone had a brief association with her in 1987, but the story was verified by 2 witnesses. Wasn't accurate. June 2018, officers in the case was transferred from Santa Monica to the Los District Attorney's Office of Angeles. However, the case was abandoned by October. There were no witnesses and insufficient proof. May support the assertions. Then Stallone submitted his own report, claiming that the woman had misled a government officer document. As time went on, Stallone has received praise and dispute. From a medical facility bed following an altercation to standing in courts, his experience has been anything but typical. However, there was one Stallone's life's chapter that stood out for its passion as much as its action: his complex relationship with fellow celebrity Bruce Willis. It all started with a friendship. However, things soon became explosive. The friendship. With Bruce Willis. Sylvester, Bruce Willis, and Stallone were once one of the world's biggest action stars, and they had a close friendship as well. They grew closer once they joined forces. For the 2010 Expendables, the movie Stallone's writing and directing brought, assembling an action legend's dream team: Jet Li, Dolph Lundgren, Jason Statham, and more. Bruce Willis portrayed Mr. Church, an enigmatic CIA officer who employed the group for risky tasks. His it was brief but strong. When the film was a huge success, Stallone made a follow-up. Returning as Mr. Church, Willis as well as in the Expendables, too looked good. Their chemistry on screen, it clicked. They were known to off-screen stay near. Both men were revered because their lengthy careers and strong guy personas, although fans adored. Seeing them together, in the background, stress began to construct. It has nothing to do with tricks or scripts. It has to do with money. That tension erupted when creating Expendables 3, and it would be different their enduring friendship. $1 million disagreement that put an end to everything. When it was Stallone's time to shoot the Expendables, 3 wished to restore the previous team. That entailed contacting Bruce Willis once more. He made him an offer of $3 million for couple workdays. Willis, meanwhile, wasn't pleased with the offer. According to reports, who wanted an additional $1 million or $4 million, but it was too much for Stallone. He observed it is irrational, particularly for merely a few of days on location. Stallone departed quiet. Rather, he went directly to Twitter. He shared a post that said, "Lazy and greedy is a surefire recipe for career failure." Bruce was not mentioned by name, but everyone understood who he was referring to. The message was obviously aimed toward Willis. Fans were shocked by the message, and soon after, headlines appeared. Individuals was shocked to learn that 2 pals were leaving so openly. Not long after, Stallone Harrison took Bruce Willis's spot. Ford. It was a clear and loud statement. Negotiation was out of the question. This move fueled the fire even more. The money was no longer the only factor in feuds. It was about loyalty, pride, and trust. Stallone was disappointed by someone here guarded as a buddy. In the meanwhile, Bruce Willis never publicly responded to the tweet from Stallone. Silently, he took a step away from the undertaking. According to some, he wished to investigate several roles. Some thought the money was the actual thing. Problem. Furthermore, that wasn't the first time. Stallone had been rejected by Willis. Additionally, Stallone had inquired him to become a part of the Escape Plan series. Willis, however, refused. Rather, Arnold Schwarzenegger assumed the part originally intended for Bruce. The movie eventually developed into a $122 franchise. $1 Stallone moved on once more, without him. It appeared as though the friendship was over, but time has the ability to transform things. Following Stallone and Willis's falling out spoke little, but that made a year later. 2014 saw Stallone embark on Twitter once more, this time to promote harmony. He expressed regret for the harsh remarks and verified that Willis and he had made up. It was a relief to the fans. The 2 action stars re-established their friendship. Indy. 2022, however, the world received some devastating information. Bruce Willis was identified as having aphasia. The state impacted his capacity to write, talk, and have linguistic comprehension. His relatives posted the information online and stated that he would give up acting. It was a depressing time for the surrounding fans and Hollywood, the entire world. Stallone was profoundly moved. He stated in an interview that, "Bruce, I's experiencing some very, truly challenging times. He's been kind of in communication. I'm killed by that. It's really unhappy." Despite the fact that they were silent, Stallone shown his concern for Willis. He complimented him and made an offer, assistance to his family. He claimed to be hoping and praying for the best for Bruce would endure it all with strength. It was a heartwarming moment. Fans were able to observe that whatever transpired between them in the past no longer mattered. Their connection had made it through the worst. However, there is yet more to the tale. Stallone, as well as Willis, from competitors to admirers. Observing return, it's difficult to overlook how different they were on different paths. Long before in fact, Stallone had Expendables declined to play John M. Lan in Die Hard. In that capacity, Bruce Willis became a recognizable brand. Following that, Willis's career took off. He turned to become one of the most well-known action stars from the 90s and the 2000s. Alternatively, Stallone had made a name for himself with Rocky and Rambo. However, he acknowledged that Willis possessed a unique quality. That's what made their strong friendship. Both of them recognized the significance of ascending to the top. However, companies may test even the strongest connections. The funds. Debate regarding the Expendables. 3 damaged their friendship terribly. In public, Stallone was nasty, and Willis took a step back. However, time grew softer. The rage. Later, Stallone claimed that he regretted his handling of it. Additionally, he recognized Willis's health issues with only love. He informed The Hollywood Reporter he continues to believe about Bruce frequently, even if they are unable to. "Now speak," he remarked. "It's very sad. That kills me." By 2025, Stallone is still to say nice things about Bruce. He divulges updates, shows support, and pays tribute to the enjoyable moments they shared. Even though they're no longer collaborating, their friendship has evolved into something more subdued, profound, and courteous. And ultimately, there is more to their narrative than just motion pictures. It concerns 2 figures who faced forgiveness, failure, and celebrity, and used it to maintain a connection. Everything. Are you of the opinion that Sylvester Stallone was authority to publicly criticize Bruce Willis over cash? Additionally, which action pair do you either Stallone alone or Stallone and Willis Schwarzenegger? 2. Tell us what you think in the remarks section below. Additionally, remember to click like, subscribe, and keep watching for other amazing tales from the interesting history of Hollywood. See you the next time.